Welcome to the Market Mindset. We are the hub for news, results, and CEO interviews focusing the junior commodities sector. We provide market analysis and perspective that will help position you for solid returns. If that sounds like something you're interested in, you can help support us by liking this video, subscribing to our channel, and clicking the notification bell. For more info, you can visit our website. All links are in the description below. Now let's get into today's video.
Good morning, everyone. It's Andrew with the Market Mindset. Today, we are joined with Marshall Koval, who is the CEO and director over at Luminex Resources, an Ecuadorian company. It's a really interesting story here. Gold and copper play, 3 earn-in projects. This is interesting. I like talking about Ecuador. There's a lot of history there of resources, and you guys are doing some really interesting work. Glad to have you. How are you doing today?
I'm great, Andrew. Thanks for having us today. Yeah, Ecuador is really one of the last Latin American frontiers for exploration. There's been a lot of exploration work, a lot of new discoveries, a couple new mines built in the last few years. So it's a great place to be operating.
Yeah, it's not as much work done there in other places, but that resurgence of it and the popularity or the support from the government is huge. And we see, and that matters a lot because you guys are like 30 kilometers or so, or one of your projects from Fuerte del Norte up there, which is a very well-known project. So that I want to bring that up because it shows that projects are getting done, there's support, and they're monster projects. I mean, these are big finds.
Yeah, I mean, Fruta's producing over 400,000 ounces a year. It's a great project, really well run. I know Ron Hochstein quite well with Lundin. They're doing a great job there. And then north of them is the Mirador mine, which is a copper porphyry mine that's in production with Chinese company management. And that's doing well too. So listen, we're in one of the most prospective belts with the majority of our projects in Ecuador. Our Condor North project, we put out a PEA last year. It can produce about 190,000 ounces of gold a year for 12 years. And if you look at it at today's spot price at say 1830 or so, the NPV of the project's about 630 million. So that more than underpins our basic value in the market, which right now is about 50% lower than the last financing. So it's a great investment opportunity. And we've got good partners in BHP, JOGMEC, and Anglo drilling some porphyry copper projects. And this is our location map that you can see here, and it shows you kind of where we're at. Pegasus, the green boxes in the middle of the country, but the rest of our properties are down around Fruta del Norte in the southeast part of the country.
Yeah, and you brought up a bunch of things that are great because I always like to point out, is there any urgency or where is there some value here? I mean, there's lots of different areas we could talk about the value for an investor if they're looking at this. Never mind you just mentioning like the prices come down, and not because of bad news. Like, it's not like it's come down for a reason. It's come down just out of market favor, and you're heading into drilling as well. There's lots more to come up, but this is an opportunity to get into something where I talk a lot about there being a massive requirement for copper, but also if you've got gold projects, it's just free cash flow. Like it's beautiful to have.
For sure. Once you're in production, for sure. So if you look at our Condor project, we're doing drilling there right now, and we're adding to the PEA that we put out and expanding some targets. And then there's some new drilling areas there at our Prometedor area. We've got a big gold anomaly, but we also have copper that at Elito and Juanuinza that we're looking at within the Condor project itself. And we're drilling the gold targets right now. And then at our Tarqui project, the JV with BHP, they're currently drilling porphyry copper deposit there. And then we just are in the field, and we'll be drilling next week with a joint venture at Arquitias with JOGMEC. And then hopefully at mid-year, Anglo is going to be drilling their Medusa target, another JV that we have. So there's a lot of copper in this story. There's copper discovery, and then it's all underpinned by the gold at Condor North.
Yeah, those are 2 nice ones to have. And maybe just because we get a lot of generalist viewers as well, and I like to point out, especially in this in Ecuador, is having a JV with such big names, such big players.
Right.
Some people want to say, why don't you just own it 100% outright and just go on your own? And others would say, no, no, no. If you're going to go into a place like that, you want as much heavy hitting, strength behind you. Kind of tell us about how does that work down in somewhere like Ecuador?
Yeah, so I think the biggest advantage to the investor is it's non-dilutive investment in exploration, and so BHP, we're looking at $42 million of investment for them to earn 60%. They're currently drilling a 5,000 meter drill program. And, if we have a discovery there, it's a big game changer.
Yes.
Anglo, they have to spend 57 million to earn 60%. And they've already spent about 14 million on the project. They've defined really good drill targets. And, once they get out there and drilling, that'll be great. They're working with the communities right now. And, with COVID, it's slowed everybody down, but they're in the field working away. And then we just announced a deal with Jogmec at Arcadius where they spend 7 million, and we've got a drill in there now, and we're going to start drilling. So we're really excited about the copper potential beyond the gold that I mentioned at Condor, where we have about 6.6 million ounces of gold. I don't think the market has fully understood the story with the two commodities, and obviously Ecuador is an emerging jurisdiction.
Yeah, and I just want to throw this in here quickly. Red Cloud has an analyst report out on this too, Haywood as well. But if you want that, reach out to me or reach out to Roger. We can put you in touch with Roger over at Red Cloud to get you that report, because it'll kind of highlight. I can't really talk about price points and what they think, but they're certainly optimistic about where you guys are going. And that's important, because it's one thing for me to say, oh, it looks undervalued, or even for yourself, but there's third party, fourth party people that are looking at this going, wait a second, people are not paying attention here.
Yeah, I mean, we've got all sorts of different areas that we could really add value to this story. And, we've got a team that's been together since, I joined Ross Beatty and the Lumina Group in 2004. A lot of the senior people, Leo Hathaway, our Senior VP of Exploration, joined in 2004. So if you look back through the history of the group, we've done really well. We raised about 275 million in the copper space and returned about 1.6 billion to shareholders. So we've got an experienced team. We work in Latin America, so we've got the potential to really move this thing forward.
Yeah, tell me, like you talked about the COVID restrictions, and you have a strong program there. I see you've got a strong ESG kind of platform as well, with making sure that you're doing everything correctly, and that makes a big difference in a place, especially in a place like Ecuador, where they're going to get on side with the project or off side with the project if they know the management that their goals are in line with theirs.
Yeah, I mean, that's a cornerstone to all our work. You can't work in these areas without community support, and I guess. One positive thing that came out of the tough situation with COVID is we became a lot closer with the local communities. The government had resources in the area, but not to the level that we could support. So we did a lot of things, health and with the communities. We supplied food when there was supply chain issues. So we got closer with our communities. So that's been a real positive thing.
Yeah, that makes a big difference when you align your values with other stakeholders. It's a game changer for sure. And then you guys are going to have, the year ahead. You've got three joint venture projects with millions of dollars flowing in of work being done. There's going to be no end to the news flow, I assume.
Yeah. Well, we're hoping that all the news flow is real positive that we hit. And we've got some drill holes pending in the Condor North area. Some new targets that we're drilling there for gold. So we should see some news flow there. We should see it from the BHP and the Jogmec drilling. And, we've got a team of about 20 geologists, and we've got large land packages that we're looking at. So we're pretty active there. We just put out a press release on February 9th, if you go to our website, and it outlines all the different project areas that we're working on. And I guess that's the other thing too. It seems when you look at it as a company, we've got a huge amount going on, and we do. But the real focus is on the things that we've talked about today.
Yeah, and having those three projects in Ecuador is pretty unique, because, we're talking potentially, I'd say potentially, very large type projects. These aren't just, hey, we think we might have 300,000 or 400,000 ounces here, and it's shallow, and we might make a run out of it. This is kind of more monster hunting.
Yeah, I mean the porphyry copper potential in Ecuador in particular is pretty significant. You know, you look at some of the successes of other companies besides ourselves. You know, you've got Sol Gold, and then you got Solaris. With Solaris has been an unbelievable story. So, you know, there's a lot of discovery potential within Ecuador, and we think we're well positioned to capitalize on that.
And we kind of touched a little bit on it that you guys face different weather, like almost the polar opposite weather problems that up in Northwest BC would have, where it's frozen tundra and mountains. You guys will have, I think you had said it starts now, like a rainy season, which gets a bit muddy and a bit of a pain. But other than that, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, other than that, no issues. The rainy season this year has been dry, drier than usual, and that's helped us move rigs around, get into the field, and you know, hopefully we'll have a decent rainy season. But we've been able to operate all through the rainy season for the last 7 years that we've been into Ecuador. It just has some logistical challenges, and our team's pretty well prepared to deal with it.
And I mean, this is really like really the data accumulation phase, because with 3 projects, so much work getting done. Is there anything at this point? And I always kind of ask, like when people say a comparison, if they can look and go, I don't want to go into the weeds here, but if we can look at the mineralization or the geo or anything, is it similar to other projects in the area? Does it hint like, hey, you know what? They're finding that it looks kind of like this, it's acting like this. Can you say anything like that, or is it too early?
No, I think if you look at we're early phase at the Tarqui project and at Orchideus, but they're very similar porphyry copper terrains like the Mirador mine, and they're not that far away. So we're in the same generalized trend. If you look at Solaris, they're up to the north of Mirador. So it's a very, very highly mineralized area in and around our Condor, Tarqui, Orchideus projects. The Anglo-American area, where at our Pegasus, is in the center of the country, a bit different area, but Anglo has identified 8 different porphyry systems there. Medusa is the first one that they want to drill. And there's information on our corporate presentation on that. So, you know, there's big porphyry potential. And then if you look at Condor itself, you know, it's an area that we've got about 6.6 million ounces of gold, and we have the potential to expand that. We made a discovery at the Camp Zone. It's an underground target. We're drilling to expand that. That was in our PEA that we put out in 2020. And then we have other targets along the same trend at Prometedor, which hopefully we'll be drilling this year. It continues to look good. There's about a 500-meter area at the surface with good gold mineralization. So, you know, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, and I mean, once again, it's tough with there's 3 projects, but generally a lot of the drilling is being kind of shallow, except for some of the copper ones, which are about 500 meters or so. Yeah. So you've got lots of room to expand as well.
Yeah, and I guess I would characterize it that, you know, Condor's PEA level, the other copper projects that we're talking about are early stage, so the chance of discovery is what would really drive the stock if we hit really good in those projects.
Yeah, and I like to just to kind of wrap up, just so people can see. I mean, the stock has pulled back a lot, and that's, I would say, almost all the companies out there in the mining sector right now, while we're under stress. But that gives someone who's new and looking at a project to go, where's some real big numbers, potential big numbers that you could look for. These are big numbers, and whenever I talk about the need for new copper projects to come on, this is the type of scope and scale that you'd need to start really funneling money to go. We need some big projects coming on board here to meet the demand that's coming down the pipeline.
100%. I mean, with electrification, you just look at what's happened with the copper producers right now. You know, last couple of weeks they got hit, but somebody like Freeport has come back already to a 52-week high, right in that range. So I think there's a bright future for copper, but, you know, gold, look at where gold is today. So, you know, I think we have the right mix of commodities in a undervalued early stage development project at Condor and discovery potential at our copper projects.
Yeah, I was going to say, especially that marriage of the gold and the copper, because if we looked at it as being an actual mine and producing, is the cash flow. I think everyone would kind of say, not trying to guess the future, gold is going to have a pretty strong price for the next little while. And just if you imagined what this could look like, you've got free cash flow from the gold, you've got the copper coming out. It's a pretty nice mix.
Yeah, we're excited about it, and we just have to do the hard work and get the drill results and work closely with our partners. So we think we got a good future.
Excellent. Well, it's a great price right now. I mean, if someone's looking for big projects, blue sky potential, this is it. And I mean, I always want to put a caveat on that. Great relationships in the country with the government, with stakeholders. That's a critical piece of this too.
100%. Yeah, I met with President Lasso, and he's been in office for a little bit less than a year, or right at a year almost. And he's been a real big supporter of mining. They see it as a critical economic aspect of the country. They have oil production. Mining is becoming a big GDP producer. You've got agriculture and tourism. So mining is one of the critical components to the country going forward. And obviously an emerging mining sector has its challenges, but we do have good government support. So I think things are on the right track.
Excellent, Marshall. Well, thank you so much for giving us the high-level overview on this. That's pretty exciting projects, all three of these, with great partners and with mines nearby, or big projects nearby. This does look quite interesting. And if you're interested, please reach out to me. We can set up a call as well if you've got further questions, and we can get you that report from Red Cloud as well. Make sure you reach out to Andrew at the Market Mindset. Thanks again, Marshall. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks, Andrew.
Today's company presentations are brought to you by Red Cloud Financial Services and the team at Red Cloud Vancouver. Red Cloud Financial Services is your preeminent source for mining industry opportunities. The team provides a unique tailored marketing program dedicated to reaching the right people from its mining-focused global network, giving clients access to industry-leading events and conferences, retail and institutional marketing, plus an in-house growth-driven digital agency. Red Cloud Financial Services has access to some of the mining industry's most notable companies and CEOs. Tune in every Thursday at 4:15 p.m. Eastern, 1:15 p.m. Pacific for weekly corporate presentations. For more information, visit redcloudfs.com.
And we're back. Hello, everyone. Now we're joined with Ralph Shearing, who's the president, director, and CEO of Altaley Mining, a Mexican mining company. They're looking to be the next emerging mid-tier Mexican mining company. Had a great chat with you yesterday, Ralph. How are you doing today?
Very well, Andrew. Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, good stuff. So let's just get right into it. Tell me a couple of things that are happening right now that are really exciting you.
Well, we're about ready to start our second mine. It should be in production at half capacity in the next several weeks' time. So this is a gold project, really exciting. We're in a great gold market, and that's going to combine and help our cash flows because we already have our Campo Morado zinc mine producing at maximum capacity in a very good, very positive zinc environment, zinc priced environment. So lots of interesting things happening here with Altaley.
Yeah, and sorry for the pronunciation. That was awful. You might have to correct me a few times.
Yeah, it's a little play on Spanish, right? So Alta is high and lay is great. I agree.
Yeah, I like it. And this is definitely a shift from, we just talked about Ecuador. We talked about, real exploration at the last company. We're talking production now. So we're into the mining here. These are 100% owned. They're your projects. And this is a good, interesting mix too, because it's gold again. Like you said, we're definitely, feeling quite good about the free cash flow that can come from gold now and for the years ahead. But tell us a little bit about zinc too. Like, how does that work? If you're just a general investor, why is zinc so important?
Right now, zinc is at reasonably high prices and almost all-time highs over the last 4 or 5 years. So we're about $1.66 per pound today. That's an excellent price for zinc, and it's projected to be good for throughout the rest of this year into next year because of all of the infrastructure upgrades coming around the world. The economies are coming back into stream after COVID. So, it's a good future for zinc for the foreseeable future. Zinc has been traditionally, it's up and down. And, back 2 years ago, it was in the 80-cent level. So it was hard to make money at this mine during those times. However, we've cleaned up the mine, we've reduced our costs, and we're now producing at a price where we can really absorb some lower zinc prices as well.
So that's excellent. Sorry, excuse me. Whenever you say near-term production too, I mean, you guys really mean near-term. You hear that term often and people mean like a year out or 2 years out. You guys really mean it's like months away or even weeks away.
Yeah, exactly. So Tahuehueto is a fantastic gold project. It's a district scale project. It's one I've been working on, carried it through the exploration stage into the feasibility and now construction. And that construction is almost complete. We expect to be turning over with one ball mill in the next couple of weeks and testing that ball mill with ore near the end of this month. It could be first week of March, but we'll be putting ore through that ball mill anytime now. And then in the next quarter, we'll be installing one more ball mill, and we'll have this mine working towards its capacity, design capacity of about 1,000 tons per day mid this year. And we would hope to be able to declare commercial production in third, fourth quarter of this year, when the mine is operating at least 80% of management expectations. This is a great mine. This is going to be a low-cost producer. We're expecting $15 to $20 million free cash flow once it's up in full operation, and it's just only going to complement our zinc mine at Campo Morado.
And this story really is about that efficiency. It's about getting back in. Not only, I think we talked a little bit about metallurgy as well, but it's about really refining a process, not only operationally, but to these mines. That's what's really adding a ton of value to this as well.
Yeah, the gold mine for sure. Tahuehueto, metallurgy is simple. It's really easy. We get most of our metal out of the mill at that mine, or will as soon as it starts. Campo Morado, on the other hand, Campo Morado is a volcanogenic massive sulfide deposit, and it's kind of a tricky one because the metallurgy is tough. It's very fine grind or fine grained ore, so we have to go down to a microfine grind to liberate property. So to put it in perspective, we've been grinding traditionally about 20 microns, and we're getting decent zinc recoveries, but we're getting poor precious metal recoveries. So we're getting about 15 to 20% recovery in gold and about 40 to 50% recovery in zinc. By grinding down to a microfine grind and then going through what's termed a forced oxidation and leaching of the tailings, or at least a part of the tailings, then we expect to increase our gold and silver recoveries by as much as 400% on gold and 200% on silver. And that's actually gone through first phase testing with two processes, a leach ox process and the Albion process. So we know it works in first phase. Now we got to take it through second phase, and that's kind of what we're doing. And then by grinding, microfine grind, we expect to be able to recover more base metals as well. And we have a pilot plant on site going through that testing at this point in time. It's been there about 2 months, and we're continuing to work through that process. So we're starting to see some good increases in our concentrate grades, and we just got down to the 10, 13 micron grind level over the past week, and so we're waiting to see what that does. But we really think we can improve our recoveries at Campo Morado, and if this forced oxidation leaching works, we have a tailings facility there that's got 3.4 million tons of tailings that has a lot of gold and silver in it that wasn't originally recovered. So we expect to be able to go in there, regrind that and reprocess it and get a lot of the metal that's still in those tailings facilities.
See, that's some pretty exciting urgency or news. If it comes back positive that this process is working and you've kind of proven it up, then in a relatively short period of time, you're adding a lot of numbers and values very quickly.
Yeah, we think we'll have our pathway at Campo Morado figured out by 1 or 2 more quarters of very extensive testing. I call it a full court press on metallurgical testing.
Yeah, and I think this is your large. It's like a 17 million ton resource in total.
At Campo Morado, correct?
At Morado, yes. Yeah. And then
that image that just came up, if you back up one, that's actually the construction project at Tahuehueto. So that's the mine that is almost ready to start up at Tahuehueto. You can see the progress we've been having there, water tanks and the flotation circuit in the lower left-hand corner and the ball mill up in the upper right-hand corner. That ball mill is ready, just about ready to turn. So things are going well there.
And you've had like 30 million invested into that in exploration and pre-fees as well, right?
Well, if you add up exploration cost and construction feasibility, we're about $60 million.
Oh, 60 million. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, about 18 million on exploration and carrying cost, and then 35 million more or less on the construction.
Excellent. Excellent. And is this one of the top 3 golds?
It will be once it's in production.
Once it's in production, yeah.
Grade, yeah. Once we can have it in production, we can claim it to be one of the 3 or 4 top highest grade gold producers in Mexico. I stress that's not the most gold. I would love it to be, but it's the high grade. And high grade's your friend in any underground mine for sure.
For sure. Now, what's the look for expanding upon that? Do you have hopes that once you're up and running, next stage is, hey, we can poke around and maybe expand this at all?
Yeah, Andrew, I've been on that project for 20 years, and
yes.
This is a district scale project, and we've only touched the surface of it. So right away, as soon as we're healthy enough to start turning drills again, we'll start bringing in new resources and reserves. And I envision a doubling the size from 1,000 to 2,000 tons a day within 2 years' time. It's just a matter of getting the drills going again. And ultimately, I think this mine can grow into a mine similar to La Cienega, which is a Fresnillo operation. And Fresnillo is about 100 kilometers away from us. It's mining over 3,000 tons a day. It's very similar geological environment, similar vein type structures. So that's where I think we can take the Tahuehueto to.
See, I like that too, because there's still, and even in my brain, sometimes people think, oh, okay, it's mid-tier and you're going to production. You're just gonna be focusing on operating and that's it. And the story's over. And I want to highlight to people, maybe in some projects that could be true, but that's certainly not the case here. It's just started. And it's amazing to have an actual mining story and exploration at the same time, instead of it always being outsourced and just kind of the model that we have now.
Yeah, and that's true for both of our projects. The exploration potential in both the projects is fantastic. And Campo Morado, the previous owners, they had outlined about 15 surface targets, geophysics, geochemistry, some coincident, that are drill ready. We just have to locate them, set up a drill, and drill them. And that's on a property scale basis.
Yeah.
In the underground mine workings, they did a lot of borehole geophysics, and there appears to be a second mineralized horizon below the existing discovered ore bodies. So they've actually drilled a few holes in those, and they have encountered good massive sulfide zones. So they need to be drilled out. We need to drill a lot more holes from underground, and that would be easy to access them from the existing underground workings. So Campo Morado has got a huge amount of exploration potential. I could envision a doubling the size of that mine. We're producing now about 2,300 tons a day at Campo Morado on an average. And, I could see that mine going up to 5,000 tons a day if we have the exploration success that I envision.
And it's great to have like the operation, the cash flow coming in once you have production. I'm just kind of thinking down the road, a month or two, because it gives you that war chest, and it comes from a place of strength coming into the market, rather than, hey, we're coming back to explore some more. It's a lot more strength when you have production. Yeah,
and you don't have to go to the market to raise money. I mean, we're already cash positive. We're making $2 to $3 million EBITDA monthly from Campo Morado. Once Tahuehueto comes on stream, we expect that to double. So, these are good numbers. This is a very undervalued company at this point in time. So we think we've got a lot of room to appreciate our stock price by getting Tahuehueto in production and just moving forward and ramping up our cash flows.
And I don't want to be too excited right here, but right now is like a great time if you're a major to be looking at companies that have potential, because you can get them for a steal. And that kind of sucks for someone like you, because you have a big expansive story, but at the same time, like you mentioned Fresnillo, you have neighbors that are very big, very capable, and I'm sure are waiting with a bated breath to see, all right, how is this stage going? And what's the next stage? How's the exploration coming? And if you start expanding numbers, I'm sure there's going to be lots of interest in this story, to say the least.
Yeah, Andrew, I think it's a fair statement. And I think it's important to point out that trying to do a hostile takeover on our company would be next to impossible. We have major shareholders that control very large portions of the company. So if any kind of a takeover were to happen in the future, it would be a friendly situation. No one could be successful on a hostile takeover. So we'll see what develops. I mean, we've got so many good things happening. If you look at evaluations for us right now, there was one slide that came up a minute ago. It's kind of a peer comparison.
Yes.
It's an enterprise value over EBITDA gives us a ratio, and our company's at about 1.4 in that ratio, where polymetallic producers in Mexico would be about, well, there it is there.
Yes, yes.
You know, I think the polymetallic producers are in the 12 to 14 ratio. So there's a huge amount of growth potential there. And even if you classify us as a precious metal producer, which we might have an argument for once Tahuehueto comes in production,
Yeah.
because close to 60% of our revenue should be from precious metals. But you can see there we're 1.4, and the average up there is like 4 or 5. So there's a lot of ability to increase the value of our stock just by getting out, doing more marketing, getting the project up and running, getting the cash flows going, servicing our debt, and things look pretty bright for us.
Yeah, like I love these types of comparison type ones because you can look and someone go, huh, okay. And they might have more questions. And once again, if you do reach out to me, I can put you in touch with the analyst over at Red Cloud, or yourself, Ralph, as well, if needed. But we will be happy to get you more detailed information about this, because these kind of comparisons, someone goes, oh, why is that? And that's what I want with these types of series, is people to question, this sounds amazing. There's so much going on. What am I missing here? And sometimes it is, I hate to say it, it's just marketing dollars.
It's marketing, and it's marketing. It's the industry itself, like the investment banking industry, haven't been paying attention to gold up until just recently. We've had a really good spike up in the gold price the last several weeks. Maybe the interest level will start coming back in from the investment bankers. That would be wonderful for us. I mean, it's worth noting too that Red Cloud just issued a research report on us, and they projected $1 per share on that research report. So there's really good backup information that our stock can perform very well in the near future.
Yeah, I'm happy to get that third-party report too. If you just send me an email, I can get it off to you. But that it just shows that there's so many interesting projects out there. And if you're someone who's new to mining and you're thinking, well, I don't want to be just out in the middle of nowhere looking for something, like, this is cash flow coming in a couple months. You already have cash flow, but I mean, the production is coming on. You have a company that's actually mining. And I kind of say that facetiously because even a couple of years ago, people would laugh and go, oh my God, it's a junior who's actually doing the business of mining. They're actually operating a mining company. They're actually doing mining.
It's actually quite interesting, Andrew, because I'm an exploration geologist, right? So I've been 35 years in mineral exploration development, and I've been managing public companies for 30 years. So it's been a real interesting past 5 years for me, from bringing the company out of an exploration stage into mining and learning the mining side of the business. So it's been really interesting. It's been really good. Having the cash flow coming in is just a sigh of relief when you don't have to go back to the investment bankers and be raped and pillaged when you try to raise money, right?
Yes. Yeah. And it is, and I say to people all the time, it's just sooner or later, people are going to be forced to pay attention to commodities and forced to take a look at mining. Goldman Sachs has been out there for the last couple months, saying this is a very unique situation. They see a super cycle coming. I certainly am on board with that. I hope that they're correct. And if you look at a project like this, where there's blue sky potential, but there's cash flow coming in, that becomes very attractive to people. And easier for them to understand, because there's some numbers to be able to evaluate and do some modeling on, but there's also the upside potential. Very attractive. Plus, there's going to be the interest if you start hitting some numbers and getting the operations more efficient. There's going to be suitors that are going to be coming and looking and sniffing around.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We're in a really good space right now. Lots of growth potential in the company, and we have the safety of being in production and making money. So it's a safe investment for anybody who wants to play the upcoming super cycle, as you say. I certainly hope it's coming. It certainly seems that way. And I've been in the business a long period of time. I've rode the ups and downs over many years. This one has been a long time in getting here, and it seems to have the potential for some huge momentum, and it could be a wonderful cycle over the next 5, 7, 8 years. We'll see what happens.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Ralph, for coming on and telling us about this very interesting project. And once again, I love the gold with the base metal with the zinc. It's a great mix with the cash flow and the serious industrial use of zinc. It's a great mix.
Thank you very much, Andrew. It's been a pleasure. And, we're here to answer any questions as well. So anybody can reach out to us.
Excellent. All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Take care.